This is the BenQ XL2540 240 Hz refresh rate monitor, and today I'm going to be talking about it. This video is going to be about competitive FPS games, first-person shooters. So if that doesn't particularly interest you, then don't keep watching the rest of this video. It's basically just a waste of time for you. But if you are interested in Counter-Strike, I'm going to be talking about whether or not 144 Hz, or rather 240 Hz is worth it over 144 Hz. And my personal experiences with this 244 Hz panel, 244 Hz, 240 Hz panel. Right off the bat, I'm gonna start by giving an answer to those people that just came here for what's in the title, and they don't want to stay for the rest of this super long rant, or not really rant, but just me talking to my screen over like pre-recorded gameplay. But to answer the question, is 240 Hz worth it over 144? The answer is, it depends, really. It's not a big yes or no. I'm gonna tell you right now, 144 Hz isn't dead just because of these panels. It's not like you're playing at a complete disadvantage compared to someone with a 240 Hz monitor if you still have 144. Like, that person isn't gonna like destroy you beyond reasonable doubt every single game you play against them. Like, the jump between 60 and 144 is a lot more significant than the jump between 144 and this 240. Like, if you gave this 240 Hz monitor to a bot and you like freaking Silver 1 Jim Bob over here, and you had a team of 5 Jim Bobs and you put them up against Envious playing on like 60 Hz monitors, like, Scream might not one-tap everyone as well as he normally does, but I still think Envious would beat them even if they had crappier panels. But 240 Hz is freaking cool, and if you're someone who wants the best experience playing video games like this, and you have the money for it, that's another important thing considering these things are insanely expensive, go for it. Honestly, basically, if you have the budget to buy something like this and you just want to play at 244, I keep saying 244, 240 Hz, this is the best buy for you. Like, honestly, if you don't have the budget, don't buy it, but if you have the money to spend on it, just go for it. This thing is freaking awesome, and now I'm gonna start talking about why. I initially wasn't gonna get one of these, but this BenQ model had like a deal for like college students at my local micro center. You can probably hear my phone vibrating. Turn that off. My local micro center had like a $50 off if you have a student email, which I do. And I don't know why they're promoting like gaming monitors. They should be like promoting student laptops and textbooks and stuff, but whatever. Thanks, Micro Center. Thanks for promoting video games over education. But this 240 Hz panel was like on sale, and I got it for 80 bucks cheaper than what it normally was. So it's initially $500 MSRP, and that's what I thought I'd be paying for it, and I didn't really want to buy it at that price, but then it dropped 80 bucks, and I was like, I still kind of didn't want to buy it, but I was like, whatever, let's do this, YOLO, right? You only live once, and I want to live with a 240 Hz monitor, right? So, this thing is dope. I'm just gonna say that right now, okay? It is a lot easier to track models running across your screen. Everything's super smooth. Like, ambient environment models, like boxes and walls and stuff that you're running past or walking past, move by a lot smoother as well. Like, that stuff is just like, it is just so nice to look at. Now, it's not going to display, like, you're not going to be able to see every little detail whenever you're swiping across your screen at, like, 800 DPI in a 2 in-game sense. Like, if you're moving really fast, you're not going to be able to see everything in between. But just see if you're holding an angle, and Counter-Strike players will know what that means. If someone runs across your screen, they look very smooth. There's no real like blur. There's a little bit of blur that I could notice on 144 hertz monitors that like I just can't see it present on this one. Like before, it wasn't game changing. Like the blur wasn't so bad like it is on 60 hertz monitors with 144, but it was subtle and it was there and you could notice it. But this one, I honestly can't see anything like other than the model itself if I focus in on it, and it's beautiful. It makes rifling in Counter-Strike so much crisper, and it's just really, really cool. Everything moves just so smooth across the screen. I can't say that enough. And it just feels really nice. There's one thing I did notice is playing hours of deathmatch, like I would hit heads more often. It was easier to snap and like sort of put my crosshair under head as compared to just snapping in their general direction. Like I would snap to their face more than I would just snap to them, and that was something that I had problems with 144 hertz. I would get to my target, but I would have to spray him down instead of like going straight after his head and hitting his head with the first shot. I would just end up spraying and try and kill him. But I notice I hit the head more, and even if I don't hit the head, I'm locked on target, more controlled now, because like it's easier to see where you are with respect to the person if you're not moving your mouse that fast, and it's easier to see like the travel, sort of the journey between where your crosshair initially is and the target, so it's easier to control. This is gonna also depend on your muscle memory. Like if you kind of suck at this game, this thing isn't gonna make you like god at this game, you know what I'm saying? Like if you're silver 1, this thing isn't gonna make you global elite overnight. If you're D- in ESEA and you have like 8 RWS, you're not gonna become a main player like instantly if you buy this thing. It really depends on your own muscle memory. It definitely doesn't change your game sense. Like I'm hitting shots and cool shots in DM, as you can see in the video, but like I bet you $5 as soon as I go into a pug, I'm just gonna still be crap. Like I'm gonna be able to hit shots, I believe, more, but in clutch situations it's still all on your mental game sense. Like this thing isn't gonna turn you into freaking shocks, and you're not gonna be able to clutch 1v4s all over the place unless you're like a god already. But it's cool, okay? It is really nice to shoot on this freaking screen. It is absolutely positively beautiful. Everything about it. It does take a little bit of getting used to, not so much rifling. Rifling sort of came naturally as soon as I started it. Like I could notice the smoothness, but opping is kind of different. Like if you already have the muscle memory down for your op, then it's not going to, you know, completely change you. But one thing I noticed when I was opping is whenever I tried to flick, I could see the travel. Again, sort of the journey between where my crosshair initially was and the target. And that was something I wasn't really used to before. Whenever I used to flick before, my friends would always say it kind of looked like I literally zoomed in and then the target was just dead the next frame because I'd move my mouse really fast. But because of the extra 96 hertz or whatever it is, I can't really do math in my head right now, I don't want to. But because of the extra refresh rate, I could see my crosshair moving towards my target, and that felt kind of weird. I mean, that's not really going to change much for jiggle peeking or fast crouch peeking with the AWP, because you just crouch and the dude's like in the middle of your screen. If you're a good player, like you know where he is. But whenever you flick, it's gonna feel kind of different. At least it did for me at first. Everyone's kind of different. Again, like I noticed the difference right away. Some people might not notice the difference right away. It might take a while. Some people might not even notice the difference at all, and they'll probably just end up returning the thing if they don't really see the difference between this and 144. So it's kind of different for everyone. Again, that's why I think you really just have to see it for yourself. You have to play on it for yourself to see if it's really 100% worth it for you. But it feels really good. Like, once I got used to opping, as you can see behind, like, I hit some pretty cool shots, and it was consistent. Like, I wasn't missing things, and if I did, it was completely my fault. It wasn't like I couldn't see the person because, like, of messed up frames or something like that. Like, I missed the shot because I missed. I moved my mouse bad. But again, it's not gonna turn you into Kenny S. Like, this thing, if you're bad already with the op, then it's not gonna turn you into an opper. Same thing with rifling, but if you're bad at rifling, you really should work on it. But it's cool. Like, it's one of the freaking coolest things that I've ever bought personally, I think. You really need a good computer to run this thing as well. Like, you need to have a steady, not even just 240 hertz. I'd recommend a steady 300 FPS in game on your preferred resolution if you want to play on this thing, just because of how Counter-Strike and frames really work. Like, it feels more responsive if you have more FPS. So if you lock the game at like 240, it would be a worse experience than if you locked the game at 300 and you got a consistent 300. So try and have a really good computer if you want this thing. I mean, you should have a good computer already if you're spending $420 goddamn dollars on a freaking monitor of all things. Like, if you don't have a good computer, spend the money on that shit first and then buy the monitor later. Like, there's some cheap 144 hertz monitors, and you'll have a shit ton better experience if you have a good computer. Oh shoot, sorry, I paused to check something on Facebook, so you're just gonna have to deal with a non-moving screen other than just me on my webcam for a couple seconds. But as I was saying, like, buy a better computer before you buy this freaking monitor. If you don't already have a computer that can push the frames that you need to have a good experience on this thing. But honestly, this is cool. I feel like I'm repeating myself. I feel like I've been repeating myself for the past however long this video is. You're probably getting really pissed. I don't know why you're still watching this. No one probably is, but like, this thing is awesome. Now, is it worth the money? No, probably not. Like, but it's pretty dope. So I'm gonna end up keeping it because I can see that difference, and I don't really want to go back to 144 now that I've seen it. I was skeptical at first. I was like, well, I'm probably just gonna end up returning it, but I want to see what it is for the experience. But now that I've actually played on it, this thing looks really awesome. So I'm probably just gonna end up keeping it. But again, in conclusion, if you don't have the money to spend, or if you need to spend the money on something else like a better PC or better peripherals, buy this monitor later. Get 144 hertz. That will make you better as well if you don't have a 144 hertz already. And if you have 144, you really just need to see this monitor for yourself in person for you to decide whether or not it's really worth it for you. But in my opinion, this is some of the smoothest moving images I've ever seen. This thing is beautiful. I wish it was a higher resolution, but I'm okay with the 1920 by 1080 since I just play Counter-Strike all the time anyway, and I play at a lower res. The XL2540 is freaking awesome. So I hope you found this review talk thing helpful. Hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you so much for your time.